Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you all. Welcome. My name is Jackie, and this is my channel. I am forever faithful. Hope you all are doing well today. Excuse the background noise, but something my on my mind, and I was thinking about all the people that have crossed my path from all walks of life, and how the differences in these people, and there was like two groups. One group of people are human smart, then the other group of people are spiritually smart. And something that I notice is like most of the people who are human smart didn't really have a stable spiritual foundation, if any at all, but they relied on the worldly smarts, right? It is an education system that is designed by flawed men to measure their abilities. But even within that, man tends to limit ourselves as to what we can and cannot do. And I was thinking about those who are spiritually smart, understanding that yes, we're having this physical living in this physical world, but it all starts in spirit first, and to have a connection with the spiritual realm, with the holy realm, with the light. And I was just thinking I'd rather be spiritually smart than human smart any day, because man will put limits on you, but spirituality will tell you there are no limits. Man will tell you, humans will tell you what you can and cannot do. And the spiritual side says you can do all things and you can have everything you desire. Human smarts tells you that you have to work hard to achieve what it is that you want. And spiritually, the spiritual smart people understands that you can literally create everything that you want if you believe. One thing I have seen time and time over and over again amongst different people, amongst different races, age groups, is without any spiritual foundation or something holy to ground you or to ground them, that their relationships failed, their marriages failed, their jobs failed. Like, it was just a lot of loss, you know? Um, and I was just thinking, well, I remember telling a friend of mine who had started several businesses, and none of them really took off like he had hoped it would. And had two marriages, did not work, had two kids, did not work. It's like you have tried so many things since I've known you, how, I don't know, 5, 7 businesses, 2 marriages, like I said. And it's just like, but you know what the difference is? Because he couldn't figure out why things weren't working out for him. And I was like, there's no God, there will be no glory. You don't have God in your life. You do not have a spiritual connection with the divine creator, with source of everything. So how do you expect things to work out for you when when love and the Holy Spirit is not included in your life, in your decision making? When it came to opening up those businesses, and when it came to choosing your wife, and when it came to choosing the mother of your children, like there was, he was doing it on his own, his own way of thinking, his own way of being, um, and all of them was for the wrong reasons. You know what I mean? To get married to someone, um, what she thought was love, the first marriage, it was really lust. And the second one, it was because he wanted to, be a father. Well, that's not a good reason to marry someone because you want to be a father. You need to make sure that the lady that you marry is going to be a good mother and a good wife. Um, yeah, that went down the drain. But it's like so many times I've come across people trying to figure it out, and I'm like, well, do you have a spiritual connection? And I'm like, I'm not talking about going to church, this religious stuff. I'm actually talking about an actual relationship. It's like humans will call on God, the divine creator, source of everything, when they are in need, when there's an emergency, or when they're between a rock and a hard place and they're forced to. But other than that, they don't take the time out to cultivate a relationship with divine creator. And that is usually the main ingredient that you need to be successful in any area of your life. So I have definitely dated one guy who was very intellectually smart, um, but and grew up in the church. But as people get older, they tend and move away from home. They don't continue um, with developing their own personal spiritual connection to source. So I was still going to church at the time, and he's like, well, I don't see what the whole point is. He said, I don't even believe in God. I'm thinking, this is odd because I know your parents still go to church, and I know they took you to church, but you don't believe in God, a higher power. He said, no, I don't, I'm logical. I'm logical, and I believe in the things that I can see. And I just thought, wow, okay, well, interesting. I said, well, you're breathing. He's like, what? Yeah, you're breathing. You're breathing. I said, you're breathing because of the air that you cannot see, you cannot touch, you cannot smell, but you can hear it when it blows really loudly. But overall, it's kind of like a phantom. It's just invisible, right? You can't capture it, but you know it's there. You know it gives you life. You know that it sustains you. You know that if you don't have it, that you're gonna suffer, and possibly die, right? So it's like logical thinking is puts so many boundaries and limitations on the spiritual realm. And it doesn't allow your mind to open up to something different, something new, to allow yourself, ourselves, to view things from a different perspective. So having human smarts, it's okay by human standards, but it doesn't even compare to being spiritually smart and in tune. Because once again, everything starts in spirit first before it comes to earth. So I just think that it's, hey, if for those who have, you know, uh, the human smarts, the education, the degrees, and things like that, do not neglect the spiritual side of it. Because I've seen it too many times where people will literally be living their lives and starting their businesses and starting a family and all this stuff and making moves, but there was no spiritual guidance, direction, connection to guide them. And usually they may end up in a ditch or having to take a detour because that wasn't the route that the divine creator had for them. And some people just keep going around in circles and not getting anywhere. And then time passes by and they realize 10 years, 15, 20 years have passed by and I'm much older than I was when I started. But I don't feel like I've gotten any further. What's missing? That's a spiritual connection. And this is something that no one can do for you. You have to do it on your own. You have to take the time out to do it for yourself and to find out answers to your questions, to gain clarity about your life or a person or a situation. That is more important than any degree that man deems acceptable. And oftentimes, flawed man has produced an educational system that doesn't leave much room to truly dive into spirituality. You have quantum physics, and it has come a long way in the past 20 years or so, um, being openly discussed about other dimensions and realms and how this is a simulation and how we are literally creating our reality. But so many of us, most of us are still stuck in the same situation with the same mindset. Is because of the programming that has been done and continues to go on. And the more technology we have, the more programming is happening. So sometimes you have to step away from a situation to see things clearly. A lot of people don't think that this technology is a big deal, but I beg to differ because everything is energy, even us. These vessels are energy, and all this technology is energy. And depending on the frequency, it can actually heal your body or it can kill your body, over time or at a certain frequency. So don't be so caught up on the human smarts. Being smart spiritually is where it's at. Because anyone who does not actually have a connection and a relationship to the divine realm, they are lost souls wandering, just wandering the earth. So continue to pray for those people, those lost souls wandering, trying to find their place and their space in this life on earth. But also, sometimes we have to check ourselves not to allow our degrees, our education that was given by man to override the spiritual, because spirituality comes first before anything else, even before religion was introduced to us, which was actually maybe my take on it is an understanding or an attempt to understand the divine creator, God, source of everything. But again, these are flawed men. So I just feel that, there is no book that can tell me about my relationship, my personal relationship with God, divine creator, more than my own personal experiences. As I mentioned before, I had a friend who was like, well, I was saying about the Bible, I do not live my life through the Bible, but I have a personal relationship. Therefore, that alone supersedes any book that has been written, because I'm getting my information directly from source, not from someone who had allegedly experienced it and wrote a book or filmed a video, recorded a video, etc. But it's my own personal experience. And once you have these experiences, there is nothing anyone could say to you to get you to deter you from what you had seen, what you had heard, what you experienced spiritually. And I just think there are way too many lost souls roaming around with no spiritual connection, no spiritual foundation to help guide them through. So if you're one of those spiritual people and you see someone that is struggling, pray for them, offer them some nuggets of insight and inspiration and encouragement for them to build a relationship with the divine creator. But anyway, that's all I wanted to share today that was on my mind. And I wanted to share. I was in the middle of doing my nails, but I did get a confirmation that I should just record it and upload it. So anyway, thank you all for joining me today and listening. I appreciate you. Hope you guys have a great day. And until next time, take care of yourselves. Bye.